Yo, what's happening? We back in this bitch. Real Rap Coalition Podcast. We back with another episode. We're recapping episodes 3 and 4 of The Last of Us. We missed last week, had some difficulties or whatever. Really didn't like the episode 3. So we gonna talk about episodes 3 and 4. And yeah, but before we get into that, we're gonna introduce everybody. As y'all know, I'm Black Roots.
Creative choice, Caleb in the building, man. Bob Celeste couldn't be with us. He with the maniac right now. You know what I'm saying?
Um, Big Lordy Lord Pools, man. I don't know what he's talking about. Episode 3 was a masterpiece to the world, so it's a masterpiece to me. It's a great episode.
Yeah.
Showtime Slim, man. Let's talk about this shit.
Yeah, so let's talk about this fucking third episode. I'm gonna be honest,
That
bro.
episode was long as hell, boy. That shit was
It was long as hell, and it was long for no fucking reason. I don't wanna just purposely offend anybody out there, but I'm gonna say this as plain as I possibly can. There was no reason to be that extra with that episode.
Can we summarize it a little bit first before we get into the opinions?
All right, so look. So they start off with Joel and Ellie. They're walking down the path. They're on the way to meet somebody. This somebody has their own little area that they have control of, and they're hoping that he has a truck that they can use to move to their next checkpoint. Right. At one point, Ellie and Joel are walking down some dirt path. They run into I don't want to say burial ground because nobody was buried, but it was a little area where people had been killed and slaughtered and probably burned and all of that shit, right? And I will say that the transition that they used to go from where they were in time to go back in time was very fire. They zoomed in on what I think was a blanket, like an old baby blanket, a swaddling blanket. And then they went back in time to a woman holding that baby in that blanket, right? Super dope.
Well, hold on, Roots. I think, I want to address real quick. I think you skipped one part I think was pretty interesting. Before they ended up like in the field, I don't know what that place was. Was it a broke down gas station?
Oh, yeah, it was in a gas station.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Ellie, is fucking around with the environment or whatever and finds, one of the infected buried under a mound of rubble, down there. And, she walks up and just like cuts the thing to, see what the inner workings of this shit is like. And then she just kills the fucking thing.
Yeah, this kid
was trying to find whatever he was trying to find. What was he trying to find in there?
He was trying to find some weapons and supplies and gear that he had stashed the last time that they had went down this path.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ellie was being fucking weird. Sliced open the head or the forehead of an infected and then stabbed him in the face. I would have just stabbed him in the face, but apparently she wanted to see what the inside of the nigga's forehead looked like. Anyway, they move on. They do the transition. From there, we get the story of Frank and Bill. I don't have as much.
We'll start with Bill. They show us Bill first.
Right.
And so does anybody know the name of the actor? Like I said, I've only known him as Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec. Anybody know the name of the actor?
I don't.
He's a good actor. Like
he's a really good actor
in this episode as well. Like I think he played his character well.
When you said his name earlier in the chat, I looked it up, and that nigga said his wife encouraged him to play the role. That shit kind of crazy.
Wow,
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
That's super.
Go ahead.
He was just directing shit, but it's saying that they start with Bill, and we get a depiction. What do y'all think of Bill and how they introduced him?
Was that the nigga was he on Game of Thrones?
That's Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, bro.
This nigga look familiar, bro.
So me, Roots, I think the way they introduced Bill was kind of fire because they showed him in his little I don't know what you want to call it, but he was kind of like in a little hideout.
He was in his basement.
Yeah, he was
Nick
in his
Offerman,
basement.
that's the guy's name.
Yeah, I was just about to post him. Go ahead, son.
Yeah, he was in his basement. It was kind of like stocked, equipped with everything he need. It's like almost like it was like some doomsday type prepping shit that he had down there.
There's a thing for that. There's like a name for like enthusiasts like that are like obsessed with the end of the world.
He
This
called
nigga was
himself some
prepared.
other shit because he was like, "Were you a prepper?" Then he said some shit like he was a survivalist or whatever he called himself. You know.
Yeah, and I do think that's what that is. There are a sect of people out there that are just waiting for the world to end, and so they stop like that. But this nigga was well equipped and very much ready for the end of the world. I will say
that he was ready for war. That's what it was. You know,
yeah, that's it.
The shit was going on where, because the flashback showed that they were being, the citizens or the people that were in the town were being escorted away, and of course they kind of showed us that a lot of people got killed if they couldn't fit them all.
And he told Frank later, where like the conversation with them led you to believe that he had a deep mistrust of the government. You know what I'm saying? So like he probably had like a conspiracy or something like that.
For good reason. I can see for good reason. But
it definitely helped him like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was a survivalist, so his skills came in handy. It helped him survive. But I think what they did when they introduced him, they showed us a good depiction of who he is, what he's about, the shit that he can do, how he was armed, and he was ready for war when he actually went outside. He was looking for the federal agents. He was ready for war, and he got out there and see nobody was there. And so I guess everybody had been evacuated from the town, so he was able to go around and get everything he needed, supplies, anything he needed, it was his. Like he basically ran the city, and so he was able to set up all these traps and different things to catch, infected or people or whoever it might be that come around his property and everything. So I think they definitely portrayed him as he was a cold guy to me. He was cold.
Yeah, he was very well prepared. Like I think he was like fire with the shit that he was capable of doing.
Yeah, which is the same way that they depicted him in the game. I forget what it's called, but the trip bomb that he had with the cord going across the two trees, that is actually like one of his main things that they show in the game as well. When you're looking for him and you show up to that town, once you get on the inside of the fence, you got to avoid these bombs. And they actually show the same way that they showed I almost called it a walker. The same way they showed one of the infected walking into that shit is how that shit go. Except that shit, like, it did more than just, like, I think this was like a Claymore on steroids or some shit like that. Like, that shit was cold as fuck. But this nigga, he was definitely ready for anything. And quite honestly, I feel like he probably would have survived in this shit a lot longer had he not got into this situation with this other person.
We'll get to it, but he definitely would have survived longer if.
Okay, well, let's skip forward. We fast forward and and this guy stumbles across his property.
He's like in like a hole
trap,
shit,
Yeah, he fell into
and
the
so
trap.
like he pulls up, and he was, he's mistrusting of everybody. You know what I'm saying? So like he's asking him all these questions about shit. Huh?
He ain't that mistrusting.
Yeah. No, we'll get to that here in a second. But yeah, the motherfucker, he lets him out of the trap, and he's like, all right, go and get the fuck out of here. And the dude basically asks him, for some food. He said he hadn't eaten in a minute. You know what I'm saying? So he lets him go back to his crib and whatnot, and he like eats, takes a shower and whatnot. And he's like, all right, basically, time to get on your way. And, Frank, as we learn his name, he goes over and starts playing a song on the antique piano. You know what I'm saying? And Bill wants him to not play the song because it's disturbing him, in some way. And so he suggested he does it.
But
so
I think he was playing it all like, you heard the way he was playing it. Like,
you think he did it on purpose?
He was fucking up.
Nah, I don't think he did it on purpose. I just think he was just ass to Frank.
Yeah, he might.
Frank thought
That nigga Frank is cold as hell on that piano. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. But yeah, Bill, goes on to finish the song, and they have an emotional moment where it's revealed that I guess Bill, maybe before the world fell apart, was a closeted homosexual, and
he said he had a woman a long time
well,
ago.
he said he had, but
I thought the nigga said I have there's no woman. I thought that's what he said.
Well, no, because he said he had sex with a woman before, before. You know what I'm saying? But also,
I guess it had been a long time.
But to jump forward for a second, later on, when at the end of the episode, they're in the truck and whatever, and he's got that magazine or whatever in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like the back of the truck, the little seat flap.
Yeah. I don't know why you mentioned that.
Well, because I think that you know what I'm saying, he might have been hiding that shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he might have been a hidden or repressed homosexual. You know what I'm saying? Before the world fell apart.
No. Well, so this is my thing. I'll say this. So you're talking about whenever Joel and Ellie found the magazine in the car?
Yeah, I feel like that was hidden for a reason.
No, so what it is I feel like what happened was the time that passed since we first saw Frank and Bill to when they died was over 15 years for sure. I can't remember exactly.
Alert, bro.
I mean, we talking about it. We talking about it all. But it was over. Spoiler alerts. I forgot. Yeah, good shit. So it was at least 15 years that had passed. So that probably is some magazine shit from they weird.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nobody's
weird.
Escapades. They're escapades.
So nobody like I say, yeah. So you have extended an extended scene, of their relationship and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And basically it jumps forward how many years? Like 3 years or some shit. After all of that is said and done. Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. I'm not gonna cover what the fuck happened. They did.
All right, fuck it. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. All right, look.
Gotta go into detail.
I'm definitely not. All right, look. So I didn't know this until afterwards. And last week when we were discussing the episode and shit, one of our fellow podcast members let us know that the director actually said that he wanted to trick the viewers, these air quotes, but trick the viewers into watching a homosexual relationship, as if we've never seen a homosexual relationship on TV or in real life or whatever the fuck. That's not
the director. Peter Horror.
That is hilarious. That is a hilarious
director,
name.
Peter Horror. Yeah, he's a LGBTQ something. I don't know what he actually.
He's either a member or a supporter. But regardless of that, I don't feel that it was necessary to go in as much detail as he did. I honestly don't. Just be honest. I'm just gonna be honest.
But I'll be the devil's advocate in this scenario. In this, this show, they have a depiction of, it's not super graphic, but exactly what's about to happen, of homosexual sex, right? But I'll say this, right? I think that the argument to be made there would be that people don't have problems with the same type of heterosexual sex scene on a television show, right? And with it being 2023 and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna put shit on TV to represent people from all walks of life, So while it might not be something that I personally am interested, I'm looking at my phone while this shit's going on. I'm like, okay, I'm good, But for someone who is gay who might be watching the show, I'm sure maybe they were. They probably don't give a fuck. It's probably not that much of a big deal. But maybe they would be appreciative that oh, okay, this is kind of accurate to what my everyday life is, type of deal.
Right. You ain't sit there.
Mine is all fucking infecteds and shit.
Why you ain't watch it like a man?
Bro.
I left that to you, bro. You can tell me about shit. But anyway, right. So after that, they fast forward 3 years, and they've had their relationship and whatnot, and we're spending a lot of time doing the little synopsis here. You know, so I'm gonna kind of like try to speed through to the next.
Yeah, go ahead and skip to the.
You know, they 3 years later, you know what I'm saying? They're having their arguments, their debates. They want different things in the town and whatnot. And Frank lets Bill know that, you know, he's been talking to a nice lady over the radio. And, you know, Bill is pissed. He, like I say, he don't trust motherfuckers and whatnot. You know, so this is where Joel and Tess end up meeting Bill and Frank. You know, Bill's sitting there with a fucking gun on the table like he's ready, you know, at any moment to shoot a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But Tess and Frank are getting along very well. You know, they leave, go inside, and whatever they talk about, you know, it shows Bill and Joel having conversations about, you know, survivalist things like, you know, yeah, I can help you with this, you know, like we can have a mutually beneficial business relationship, you know, and so you kind of see how they get connected there. I think that was a good scene, man. You know, I think
I like that scene.
The characters very well, like as to like what their values were.
It's probably my favorite scene out of the whole episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing that they kind of added. You don't get in the game. You don't get a chance to see how their partnership forms and how early on it is. But I do not appreciate that they kind of took that away because of how Bill and Frank, you know, did the whole suicide thing. You don't get the interaction later on, you know, after Frank has passed. You don't get that same interaction between Bill and Joel.
But I definitely I do like that. Like this feels like a more, you know, expounded upon story, right here. Like, you know, you get to see their backstory and whatnot, and it tells a different story than what happened in the game, you know. But yeah, like, you know, within this conversation, you know, Joel kind of tells him that, you know, there's people out here that are going to show up, and your resources currently, your defenses are not adequate enough to deal with this, you know, and it's in a bit of foreshadowing. That's exactly what the fuck happened. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers pull up and they got a lot of action. It's a lot of them, you know, some getting set on fire, you know what I'm saying? They getting shocked, they getting shot, you know, all type of shit. There's some action going on outside, man.
And Frank again was a really good depiction of how cold of a nigga Bill was. That nigga Bill had niggas on fire, had niggas getting electrocuted, and was shooting niggas at the same time.
Y'all ever notice, like, I think when we covered Desperado like last week as well, like it's always somebody that's distracting somebody, and that's how they get hurt.
No, that's every time.
But I will say, at least in this scenario, you know, like Frank is the reason Bill got shot more than likely he wouldn't have gotten shot otherwise. But, you know, he's also the reason that he survived it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that was a good fake out. I really thought he was finna die. Like, I really thought, like,
you know what's a good fake out?
They get out of that shit.
Huh?
They get out of that shit.
What you mean?
Did they get out of? How did they get out of it?
Yeah.
Because he said leave the gas on, the rest of them gonna die. They're gonna get burned.
The traps and shit. That
he had already popped enough niggas to where anybody else that was attacking was either on fire or running off.
And Frank had a gun, like a motherfucker walk up to the house. You know what I'm saying?
In which he didn't shoot at all. One shot.
Yeah, pistol, bro. Look how far he was. Like he gonna.
I don't give a damn. Shoot something, bro.
Hey, KTL. So what I thought was a fake out, which is actually something that I actually appreciated in the entire thing, because, you know, it was not really my type of like situation, but I did appreciate one thing that I thought was a fake out was whenever he got shot, and like you said, you thought he was gonna die, and they kind of played it to black, I think, and
exactly
they come back. I can't remember
in the wheelchair.
Yeah, they came back with somebody.
Yeah, they was on the wheelchair, and you think it automatically think it's Bill. Yeah,
right. Yeah, they show us. Wait a minute, that's actually Frank. Bill is good. Yeah, so I thought that was good.
Yeah, and that was like what 20? It was at least 10, 20 years later, some shit.
Yeah, it was like 10 years later after that.
You know, them motherfuckers
at that point they lived, as hell. In which I think they was already kind of old. They was probably already in their 40s or some shit.
With, you know.
Yeah. So 10 years, you like late in your 50s now, so that actually kind of made a little bit of sense. And they've
That's what I
been
say. It's at least 15
kind of
years.
surviving the apocalypse, so that might add some years on your exterior as well.
I mean, before that, yet again, foreshadowing, Bill's telling Frank, he's like, I'm sorry, I'm getting older quicker than you, you know what I'm saying? And then come to find out, it's, it looks to be the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I agree, but I think what it is we find out about his condition or disease or whatever.
Did they ever say exactly what he had?
No, they said all that they said was, they were talking about continue on. He's like, this wasn't curable before.
And he said
everything happened.
MRI salesman, so I assume it was probably like a brain scan or something. Maybe like it was something like.
I assume it was something like cancer or something like that. Or like maybe some like neurological issue
or something,
Yeah, something like that.
Like,
So since we also got like another episode to cover, let's skip ahead a little bit more to the conclusion of their story.
Well, yeah, so that's what I was about to get to, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they get old, you know what I'm saying? And Frank basically like they wake up one day and Frank's already in his wheelchair, you know what I'm saying? And Bill's like, no, like I'm not doing this shit with you. And he tells him like, no, this is the last day I'm gonna be alive. And he basically tells him that, like his condition is fucked up, like, and he doesn't want to keep, like, he feels like he's being a burden, you know what I'm saying, at this point. Like he wants to go out on his own terms. So they have a full day planned, you know what I'm saying? They go out, they get like some nice suits and, get did up and shit. They get married, well, quote unquote married, you know what I'm saying? So much as you can be in an apocalypse. And then they have a nice dinner at night. And Frank says, I want you to take this bag of, these pills right here, mix it into some wine. I'm gonna drink it. And, I want to die with you, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. Like I was watching the scene as it happened, and literally right as like he like poured the glass of wine, I realized what the twist was. It hit me. I was like, yo, he's about to, you know what I'm saying? He already put this shit in the bottle, but then he pulled the bag out. I thought they might have got me. I was like, I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, like, he did a double suicide. He was like, okay, I've had a good life. I don't want to live without you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a very, like, I prefer this much better to the story that was told in the game. Cause like, after this, I went and looked back up because it's been a while since I played the game. I looked it up and, in the game, Frank basically like is sick of Bill and the way that he lives his life. And he, steals the truck battery, runs off and basically says like, fuck you, eat a dick, die slow. You know what I'm saying? And I prefer this as like a better end to their story. You know what I'm saying? Albeit maybe, it's not canon or whatever. They went out on their own terms, together they killed themselves and,
Yeah. Now, I'll say what my issue is. I don't necessarily have an issue that they told this story of Bill and Frank for like 45, 50 minutes because the episode was like an hour and 15 by itself.
Yeah.
It was probably almost an hour or, at least close to it that they told this Frank and Bill story. My issue is that they told this whole story for this long, and then they killed off the two characters that we had just learned about. And so everything that I learned, now it did have a reason. They had a point. The point was because they had to show us whose house we were at, why we were here, who the fuck it is,
and where they're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, where they're at, so that Joel and Ellie can come and do what they gotta do before they leave. But it's like you gave us this whole thing when they done it for like the first 3 weeks. They introduce characters and then they take them away, and I'm not really that much of a fan of that. But I feel like they just drugged this out too long to get rid of both of the characters. Now I feel like my time was wasted learning about them because I don't need to know it.
And I will say one thing that they did that was kind of like pairing to the game. In the game, you run around, and as you run around, everybody knows that when you're playing like adventure games and shit, there's certain things you can find. Like I think they're just called findables or some shit like that. Just items that you can pick up. They don't really mean much, but there are like notes in different areas. Like you might find a note on a dead body, and it's like a list of things that they need to get, or like
A
in
letter to
the
somebody,
yeah, like a letter to somebody, or orders to do something specific, or something like that. And they did bring that with the Bill note. Bill left the note to Joel, and he said it was funny to anyone that finds this, but most likely Joel. Because he figured Joel would be up there at some point, if anybody,
Yeah, and
because
Ellie
Joel was
said,
the
I
only
picked
person that
up
had
all
access to this
under the
book.
other one,
But yeah, so in the note they give the whole, everything, what happened. Said don't open the door because we in there, we stinking up and shit, we dead and shit, all that. And they get packed up, and this again just more depiction of how cold this nigga Bill is, bro. He has a battery disassembled in a refrigerator, bro, like a car battery. He fucking took it apart completely and just saved all of it together for whoever found it.
Shit,
Like, I thought that was super fucking dope. And so, they get they get the battery, put it together, charge it up, pack up and pack up into the car, and they go on their way. In which in the midst of that, you get another interaction between Joel and Ellie, right? Joel has finally come to the realization, all right, I'm probably gonna have to do all of this on my own. So he has a conversation with her, like, look, this how shit gonna go. You're gonna do what you're told when I tell you to, and that's it. If I'm gonna have to do this by myself, you gotta let me lead you, type shit. Because that's the only way you're gonna make it through the shit. Ellie cool with it, they continue on. And that lead, but they also give the little what was it, the tape that Ellie found, and they put it into the radio, and you get to see I guess a softer side of Joel. And when he gets all nostalgic and whatnot, listening to the music, which that was cool. That was a cool ending to the episode. But that takes us into the next episode, episode 4.
Before we go into that, like, what was y'all overall feelings on the episode, man? Puos, Slim, Roots?
Hated it. Nah, I'm fucking with you. It was cool. It was cool, man. Like all the stuff y'all said. Like when my man got shot, when Bill got shot, and then they came back, and it was Frank in a wheelchair instead of that was a fire scene. Joel and Tess pull up, and you know what I'm saying, they do their little meet and greet, and Joel tell them, bro, that shit ain't gonna work. People gonna come and fuck with you. And the foreshadowing and that was cool. It was fire, just drawn out, just very, very fucking drawn out. But the episode was pretty cool. You can go ahead, Slim.
Yeah, I kind of said like what I said about the story, and I feel like the only relevant information that we need going forward is like literally the beginning and the end of the episode. And so I feel like I definitely wasted a lot of time learning about these two characters who we're never going to see again. So I'm really not a fan of how they made 85% of the episode an origin story about people that we don't need to know anything else about for the rest of the series. So I don't like that.
Go ahead, Roots, and I'll go last.
Yeah, drawn out. There were certain things that were just super drawn out along with the drawn out. There was one thing that we brought up when we were talking about it. The scene with Bill and Frank on their way to the room after they both taken these pills and shit, right? So I'm like, I've already come to terms with, okay, they're dying now. So I'm gonna fast forward to when Bill and Joel get there. I pressed the look because when you watch it on TV,
that shit took forever.
And you get the remote and you press the fast forward, not the fast forward, but like the forward arrow, right? And it skips forward, I think, 10 to 15 seconds. I hit the button twice. That's a total of at least 30 seconds. And it's still them walking down the hall. I'm like, what? Why are they taking so long to walk down this hall?
They walked
so then I skip again, and they were just, bro, look, I hit the button again.
I thought they might fall over
just the hallway. They weren't even in the hallway anymore. So that along with other things that I just feel was just, whether it be unnecessary or just drawn out, it took away from the episode for me personally. I like the certain things that we learned about Bill and about You kind of get to see the kind of start of Joel kind of softening up with his relationship with Ellie. That's cool. But other than that, I probably could have did without 90% of this episode.
I I feel like there was a couple of scenes that I, could have done within the episode. But overall, like I think this was like a really good episode to me. Like I do think it your argument for it being drawn out, I think that can work. But like I felt like it was a really good depiction of two characters that within the game didn't really get a whole lot of backstory to them. You know what I'm saying? I think you told a good story, like for this to be their 15 minutes of fame, more or less. I think that you did. I think they did a very good job. Like I said, I think Nick Offerman did very good in his role. I don't know what the guy who played Frank. I don't know his name, but I think that he did very good in his role. You know what I'm saying? I think they told like a really good, like a good story of, people in love in their life, after the apocalypse, albeit how brief it was. Like I think it was a good snapshot of how living with somebody probably would be after all that shit was over. So I don't know, man. I fucked with it. But then we go into episode 4, man. And Roots, you wanted to go ahead and get a synopsis on this one.
I gotta ask you, because I mean, on Twitter and everywhere else, they feel like this is like one of the best episodes of a show ever. Like, do you think it's up there with it?
Ever is a bit of an overstatement because like I've seen a lot of like good things. But I do like, you use the word, oh yeah, the internet thinks it's a masterpiece. I can see why. I don't know if it's necessarily a sentiment that I agree with, but I think, like we said, it was an hour and 15 minutes. That's almost the length of a regular movie. You know what I'm saying? For them to like tell that story in such an extended medium, like they definitely did. They accomplished their goal. You know what I'm saying? I'll say that, man. The Last of Us, like so far, they've given a good cinematic experience, man, to people watching this shit. Like it's holding a good pace with the quality people think the game is.
Yeah, most definitely.
Go ahead.
Also, the name of Frank is I just had it for Murray Bartlett.
Shout out,
I think
Murray,
that's not Bartlett. I don't know how to say it, but shout out to that guy.
Bartlett, man.
But yeah. So then we get into the 4th episode.
Only 45 minutes this time.
The start of this was cool. You get to see Ellie being a kid with a gun. This may be a little dark for some people, but any person that was a kid at one point and got a hold of their first gun in that age probably did the same shit.
You think it's like a movie, man?
Yeah, like they did the same thing in the scene with what was it? Get Rich or Die Trying. When 50 Cent's character gets his first gun, he posed it in the mirror with the gun and shit. So I thought that was cool. I thought she was being stupid but at the same time, you find out she actually knows how to handle a gun for the most part. So I think that was a cool start to the movie. Not movie, fucking the episode. So at this point, Ellie and Joel are traveling to Wyoming at this point. Ellie has the map and she's trying to kind of navigate this whole thing while they're taking this trip. And you get a couple of really good interactions between Joel and Ellie, and is the same thing in the game on this trip that they're taking from Bill and Frank's place to the next destination. You get a whole lot of interaction between them two because it's just them two now. Before they had Tess, but now it's just them two. So they kind of have to interact. And though Joel is like you can tell he's actively trying to stay away from the father-daughter relationship. That is clearly this is what the setup is, because he just doesn't want it. He knows Ellie is cargo in his mind. Ellie is cargo. She's not a person. She is a mission, so he is He is steadfast on that. He's like, I'm not about to get emotionally attached to Ellie. That I was emotionally attached to my daughter, and I lost my daughter. So like, you get to see, his mental and emotional walls kind of fall, in this interaction between them two, and I thought that was super fucking dope. To the point where it continues all the way through the episode. I thought that was really fucking cool. What y'all think about that?
What? Go ahead. Y'all want to go first or what?
About what do you mean? How we felt about
Just the interaction between Joel and Ellie throughout this episode.
I mean, it was fine. Like he can keep doing all his. I don't want to get attached, but it's happening. You can clearly see it's happening, bro. With the little bullshit scarecrow jokes and
Shout out
not to jump too far ahead, but when she, aired the nigga out or shot the dude, like you could tell he really was like, damn, I ain't want her to like, I ain't want that to be her first shooting some. Like it's clearly he's not trying to be in father mode, but he don't really got that's what he in, bro. He's clearly in father mode. No matter how much he tells her, nah, I don't really fuck with you like that. It's the opposite. Every scene is the opposite. He's treating her like a daughter, literally every scene. It's clear he's trying to be tough guy. Nah, you cargo. You a mission, but the man clearly has a relationship with her. And I mean, you could tell, man. But that's really all I gotta say about their relationship.
I think it's great character progression, man. You know what I'm saying? You get to see like it's gradual over time. You know what I'm saying? And like Pujols is right, but like it's really like it's two-sided. You know what I'm saying? Like she also is like, in the time where she like starts out and she's like, hey, and I think it was actually episode 3 we kind of didn't address it, but like she starts out, she's like, yeah, it's not right that you're going to try to blame me because Tess is dead. You know what I'm saying? And like, leading onward, she kind of like realizes that, he's not, but that's just the way that he is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's fire, honestly,
Yeah. I feel like they kind of been building the relationship more and more every week between Joel and Ellie. And like he said, it's like a gradual progression. And I think they're doing a good job at it, man. Joel is definitely like lowering his guards, opening up more, and he's trying to protect her innocence, like y'all said. So yeah.
Big Tex in the building. What's happening, Tex?
Yo.
Yeah, theatrical Tex in the building. I just want to catch you up real quick. So we already recapped 3, and we're talking about 4 right now. I'll ask you since you just pulled up. So we were talking about the kind of the character development and the relationship development they're doing between Ellie and Joel. What do you think about that?
We started from 4, right?
Yeah,
well,
talking about 4.
Roots, is there anything about episode 3 you want to get off before we jump into 4? Pause.
I personally didn't like. I ain't like episode 3. I just didn't like to. I didn't like. We didn't really get. We didn't really get anything. We didn't really get anything from episode 3. Like it was like just drug on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they made us watch a pointless love story. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Would it be pointless regardless if it was a man and woman?
Oh no, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. You could insert a man, woman, 2 women, 2 men, 2 monkeys, anything. It was
just pointless.
Yeah, because it was just showing a love story for not like it was excessive, like too much. Like
that's the same thing I said. Tex. It was kind of irrelevant because we don't have anything else to do with that information. Exactly. There's nothing else to do with it going forward.
Exactly. So you showed us all of that just to get to them getting the house and the key and the truck and shit. Like,
that's a great answer, Tex, man. I asked that to prove to the world this is not a homophobic podcast. the shit was just drawn out. Show it was just drawn the fuck out. It's not that because it was that it just took too fucking long. An hour and 25 minutes, man. But I'm continue with your thoughts of their Joel and Ellie's relationship, how it's going on episode 4 takes.
It's cool. I mean, I see like they starting to like warm up to each other, like they starting to kind of trust each other more and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like she saved him, saved his. I don't know if he was gonna die, but she saved his life. You know,
he was gonna die.
that nigga light was going out, bro. Nigga was flaring his feet and shit. That nigga was definitely about to go to the upper room. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, shit. You know, she blicky and saved him and shit. And he was looking like, damn. I thought I told you not to have his gun, but thanks for saving me. Like he had that type of look.
That shit.
You know what I'm saying? She knew when to use that motherfucker. Like, man, maybe I should up this blick on him.
All right. Hey, you know what? I predicted that she was gonna do that too. Like whenever I saw like the little fight situation, I was like, yeah. Well, even before that, when they was riding in the truck and they pulled up and he was like, we're gonna go around. I'm like, yeah, Joel is gonna get attacked and Ellie is going to save him with that gun. That's the reason she has it. And so I had that thought in my head.
Exactly.
So once that fight happened, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. And to what you said about the way he looked at her and took the gun is because like I made a point earlier where I said he was trying to protect her innocence. And he was looking at her like, you're just a kid, you know, you shouldn't have to experience this. And then she broke into him like, this is not my first time doing this type of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, which is becoming like a common thing whenever they do, you know, apocalyptic setting movies and shows like that. They show that, you know, it's not just the 18 and older that are dealing with this, you know, this condition of the world. The kids are involved too. You know, one in particular, a show I used to watch called Walking Dead. There's a kid in there named Carl, and you see him grow up throughout this thing. I think he starts at like 8 years old, and you know, spoilers for that. But he starts at 8 years old, but he has to do some like really tough shit that no kid for real should have to do. You know, kids are supposed to play video games and play outside, and you know, not have to worry about, you know, certain shit. But because this is their element that they're in right now, they just kind of have to adapt. They're forced to adapt in this world, you know, and they've been showing that a couple of times, even with the very first episode of the kid that was walking. He had just seen his family get slaughtered, and then he walks 20 fucking miles or however, and then gets killed and thrown into a pile of a bunch of other bodies. Like, they're showing how real this world is for them. And I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I got a question for all of y'all that played the game. So, like, what we just mentioned was the fight where Ellie saved Joel. We're in a new place.
Yes.
And so that's really what I want to ask y'all. We're in a new place with new people.
Yep.
Is this okay? Who are these people specifically?
So it's pretty much the same way that they're depicting it on here.
Wait. I don't think we should be telling that.
Yeah, they're about to.
I agree.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
That kind of continues into the next.
You saw that woman, you know what I'm saying? Like,
her name is Kathleen.
Kathleen, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's of future importance and whatnot.
Well, I'll say this, KTL. What they said on this episode, Ellie asked about the people, and Joe said they're just people. So that's really all I got from it right now. But if y'all say they're going to answer that going forward,
a cop out answer, because like he was basically like he had said later on, he was like, yeah, I did this same shit back then.
Right.
It was because she had asked him. They was laying there. She had asked him, how did you know it was an ambush or whatever? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that remind me.
He can recognize all that shit like about to happen type shit.
Hey, Joel stabbed the fuck out Buddy, boy. Buddy was sitting there copping.
Oh yeah, that nigga was
He was
copping mad pleas. Got stabbed in his shit.
That shit was
He
intense.
started copping a plea. He's sitting there apologizing and some more shit.
Bro, the man was calling for his mom's right before he died, bro.
He said, "No, wait, here, it's a good knife. We can be friends and all some more shit." Like,
though, if I'm Big Joel, I'm making Ellie catch her first body. You gotta finish your job. You that innocent shit out the window. You just aired a nigga. Finish it. You see that nigga was trying to,
because he almost died though. Pool. He might not.
No. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like after she shot him, you saw what he was doing. He was trying to like pull on the heartstrings. Like, don't. My mom. I got my mom too. My name is what was his name? What was his name? Brian. My name's Brian. Yeah. We can be. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was definitely trying to get familiar.
Nigga, I'm gonna air your ass out. You just tried to kill my partner. Just let her. I would have let her air that nigga. She would have had to, bro. She would have had it.
The fuck out, buddy.
I'm not gonna lie. That might have been a little fire, but I feel like they didn't do anything to kind of lead to that. That would have been like a real
like you know, we played the game, and this I guess isn't too much of a spoiler right now, but like. He's looking at Ellie through the same kind of frame, you know, like he's got a parental mind state, you know what I'm saying? So he wants to believe that she is, you know, like this like good little girl and shit.
And it's too late. You just shot a nigga.
Yeah, but even after that, Pools, he was still telling like you shouldn't have to do that. I know how it felt my first time when he was still talking to her like that, like he was trying to protect her innocence.
I think she said, "Does it get easier when you get older?" He said, "No."
Hell no.
That's cap. So he just killed 3 niggas before 2 people before that easily. He didn't give a fuck.
That shit wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
That shit was easy.
But how did y'all feel? How did y'all feel about Ellie saying that wasn't her first time having a I guess how they were putting it hurt somebody?
Well, I knew that from the very first episode or the second episode. Whenever they had her with the Fireflies and they said she was, you know, she went to federal school and all that, I kind of had that in my mind already. You know, she pulled the knife out on Joel trying to attack him. I knew she wasn't just no, you know, innocent
regular kid type shit.
And look, and like even though they didn't give it away, they kind of hinted towards it because she always was too fascinated with weapons. She always wanted a weapon.
Bro, I just
and the way she did that little infected
the head of that fucking thing and stab it, man.
But wouldn't you want a weapon in a fucking apocalypse too, though?
Hell yeah, I don't give a fuck how old I am.
You gotta think about it. This is a little girl, though. You think a little girl?
14, bro. She ain't just 10.
She a tomboy. She not like a feminine little girl.
Yeah, but to be that she was a little too eager to get a weapon, though.
No, bro.
Every episode, come on.
I've never been a girl before, but if I'm 14 and I'm in an apocalypse, I want a weapon regardless.
Oh, no, bro.
I'm gonna keep begging too. Like, what's up, bro? Let me get that.
He said, "I'm gonna keep begging too."
Hey, look. So let me ask y'all about. We talked about the dude that they killed. So apparently, his mom was the Kathleen lady that we talked about. She came and saw the body. And her first instinct is her first instinct is that
I'm not gonna lie, Slim. I don't think I connected that.
Well, yeah, because she came and they called her over there.
Like I knew that, like I saw she was like upset or whatever, but I was just thinking it was like, you know, because it was one of her people and she was in charge or whatever.
Yeah, I think that was that had to be his mother for sure.
That's wild.
Yeah, because they could see the other dude was clearly still breathing, but like the whatever Brian or whatever his name is, he was clearly like either dead or close to it, and she asked, "Can he make it? Is it possible for him to make it?"
Didn't she ask like where Brian at? Like didn't she ask where Brian at during the show?
She said something about it. Yeah, she said his name. Yeah.
We clearly knew that was his. Well, I clearly knew that was his mother.
So let's talk about the Kathleen scenes real quick. What?
I'm not gonna lie. I think she's stupid.
Yeah,
she is. Of course,
she is the bro. The first decision we see this bitch make. It looked like, I don't know if this is true, but it looked like she killed the only doctor in the whole city.
She did.
Before that, when she was in there talking to him, like that's our first introduction to her. She's in there talking to him.
She was definitely pressing him about this Henry character that they're looking for, and I know you know where he at and all of this other stuff. I'm pretty sure
that's the point I was gonna make, bro. Like,
niggas like this, man. That's why, and I love women and everything, but that's why they don't have women presidents, man. Because you motherfuckers is emotional. Look how emotional she is. The bitch killed the only doctor because she couldn't fix a nigga who was
moms. Now we're in misogyny. Go ahead.
That's not misogyny.
Not wrong. Like, bro, she killed the only doctor because he couldn't fix a dead nigga, a nigga who already.
No. I don't believe that's the reason why.
But she was already contemplating killing him because he wouldn't.
She wanted to take it out on somebody.
Man, look, hold on. Let me say this real fast. Before they brought them 3 dead niggas up there, that nigga was like, "I'm a doctor." She went out there.
No, he specifically said, "I'm your doctor."
Your doctor, yes.
He said he delivered her. So I feel like he was doing what you said the other dude was doing.
Yeah, he might have been trying to cop a plea. Yeah.
Okay, well, fine. I'm your doctor. And that's why she said, but I have a doctor. Don't matter. So she was like, this nigga useless. Let me go air him. That don't mean he can't save other people.
I feel like what it was she was already pressing him, like Ruth said about Henry. She's like, you know where Henry at? Henry killed my brother. Well, she said some shit like my brother got what she said, killed, like beat to death.
Also, I agree.
Yeah. Henry got beat to death in that cell. Yeah.
No, not Henry. She said Henry.
Oh, not Henry. Her brother got beat to death in that cell.
And so what she was saying was she was pressing Henry. I mean, she was pressing him about Henry, and I feel like she was kind of on the fence about it. She wanted to kill him, but she didn't really want to kill him. And so whenever she went out and saw her son dead, her first thing that she said was, that nigga Henry did this. And so I feel like she went in there and popped the doctor because he wouldn't tell her about no Henry shit that she was asking about. That's what I interpreted.
Why would she say
that nigga still would have been dead whether he told her or not?
The doctor helped him
because she wanted her son to So what I think happened was she blames Henry for her son dying. And so by proxy,
Joel and Ellie like were fucking mercenaries or something hired like to help him.
Yeah, and she said that she believed Henry brought them in. She told to do that. And so,
regardless of what her reasoning was,
I think it's by proxy.
It was stupid as hell to kill the only doctor in a fucking at least 50-mile radius.
Well, yeah,
if he could have helped this situation, she wouldn't have killed him.
She wouldn't have killed him. Yeah,
she's portraying a dislikable character very well.
Yeah, I think she did a good job.
I think she gets too emotional.
But what I'm saying is, she was on the fence already. And so by proxy, I feel like because Henry got my son killed and you know where Henry at and you're not telling me, she went in there and just popped him.
Well, but then if she did that other dumbass shit. That bitch seen that shit and with the flow moving and shit. And that bitch said, yeah, we'll just wait. We'll tell everybody after it's all over. Like, what the fuck?
In which I don't have a clue what the fuck that is. I think I may have an idea, but it seems like a stretch because what I'm thinking of is something that happened in the second game. So I don't feel like they would win that.
It's simple answer. It might just be a bunch of fucking infected underneath the flow and
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that, but maybe not. But that's what I thought.
It could be some other shit, but I mean shit.
But even still, it was still, that's 2 dumb decisions back to back. She killed the fucking doctor, the only doctor, and then there's a clear threat in the city, and she was like, "Oh, let's just lock the door. We'll tell them later."
It's a 45-minute episode. She was on screen for maybe 10, 15 minutes. She ain't getting much screen time, so that's pretty big to fuck up twice that quick.
Well, I mean, it depends on your perspective. Whether she fucked up depends on your perspective. From her perspective, I don't think she's fucking up. She, like Puo said, I think it's what Puo said. She just doing shit off emotion.
Oh no, we just talking about my perspective though.
She's clearly, I don't know what Henry did. I'm sure they're gonna explain later on. But she's clearly, her main objective is to get this Henry nigga the fuck up out of here.
No, you know what? You know what's crazy? It was a lot more than just Henry that she named. She named a bunch of people when she first was pressing the doctor.
I assume these are Fedra people because she said that the doctor had been like diming people out to the Fedra people, and that's how her brother had gotten put in the cell and beat to death.
Now let me ask y'all some shit again.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So she didn't know what her son and those two other people were doing? They were just randomly trying to catch niggas or what?
No,
I think they was all
doing what they normally be doing,
Yeah.
but
What
they
are
just
you
found
there
out it went
for?
They
bad for 'em.
actually they showed whenever they first when Bill and not Bill, fucking Joel and Ellie first enter the city, you see down an alleyway. They don't see it, but they show a
The spot?
pile of freshly burned bodies. Like you can still see the smoke coming off these
Yeah, they
motherfuckers.
doing
So it
that
looked
shit.
like
Like
this
they,
is something they
it
regularly
was
do.
probably her orders or
What
something.
are
but
you
they got on
mad
their
at?
ass.
You
What
know
are
what
you
it
mad
is?
at?
I'll tell you what it is. What
He
this
mad
is
that they lost.
no look. What this
You shouldn't have been
is.
doing the shit.
But listen, y'all. What this is the same thing that they did in the Book of Eli. You remember the people in the Book of Eli? They were trying to catch people. Yeah, they was trying to catch the people that was going through the city, and they would rob them. And what they said to Joel and Ellie, dude told him, "Give me your shit." And he said he was lying for sure. He said, "Y'all make it through. Give me your shit." And they was busting shots at him, and Joel started shooting back. So
what
I
I'm
think
gonna
that's
say,
what it was. Whatever you call those people that steal from,
but they doing that. So why are you that upset? Like it's the fuck, like they innocent.
What I'll say, right?
I feel like that's what they're all doing, though.
It's like you remember the movie Troy, right? You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers is at war, and he sends his sons out to the war or whatever, and Achilles got on a motherfucker ass, you know what I'm saying? And that's we in war. If I didn't kill him, he was gonna kill me. But that's still not a fucking an excuse. A motherfucker's still mad that he killed his brother, his son, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Achilles' cousin got killed.
That's war, though. That's what I'm saying. Casualties, bro.
Like what I'm saying, Puos is she know a motherfucker doing
shit
wrong, but you know what I'm saying. You still can't just kill somebody, kid. And they not gonna do nothing about it.
If they was trying to kill me, yes, I can.
Yeah, but they still gonna do something about it.
If somebody killed your son, regardless of if your son was right or wrong, you're gonna be upset about it.
Here's the prerequisite John Wick thing. He went and tried to kill John Wick, even though he knew his kid was wrong for what he did to John Wick.
It's because it was his kid. Yep.
Yeah,
I don't think that's true.
No, it is. It did. In the first John Wick, the father got mad. He was like,
because they
did that shit too. He did that shit to John Wick.
You know you wrong. You did that shit.
And he still sent out the hit for John Wick, even though he know his kid. Yeah, he did that
because he knew that John Wick was about to wild on everybody.
No, he was finna leave it. John Wick was gonna leave it alone. He was gonna leave that shit alone afterwards, but he was like, "Well, you killed my kid. Fuck it."
It's nice to talk about John Wick.
We're getting into a tangent about John Wick again.
Yeah, I was trying, Slim. I did my
yeah. So, what's that?
There's not much left to address from the episode. This was most of the episode.
Before we get to the conclusion, I do got one thing to add. So I didn't play the game, but I read while I'm watching shit. And so one thing that I saw was that he was like a minor character, but the guy that kind of told Kathleen, he was like, I think they were mercenaries or whatever. Apparently that character is the leader, and he is the guy who played Tommy in the game. So I guess he's the voice actor that played Tommy in the game.
Yeah, that's actually fire. That's really fire.
He was like a side character. The dude that was like, I think they just mercenaries. The one that was telling Kathleen.
He's kind of acting as like either the head of security or like the second in the command type shit.
Yeah, that guy. Okay. I believe he plays Tommy in the game. Apparently,
shout out Tommy, man.
Yeah. He seemed like he about business too. Like I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if this is foreshadowing or not, but whenever he opened the attic shit for Kathleen to go and look at that shit, I thought he was about to go ahead and air her ass out for making that dumbass decision to kill the doctor and
I would have had that other shit. At that point, I would have been fed the fuck up, Roots. Like they would have been 4 weeks in a row that they introduce a nigga and kill him. I would have been fed up at this point. I'm getting tired of that.
I'm getting attached to characters, dog.
Well, I'm not getting this is the thing in which this is the thing in which I would have been cool with that because again, in reference to Walking Dead, you get introduced to somebody who's a bad person and they get killed just to lead into somebody way worse.
Yeah, but they didn't kill people 3 episodes in a row. Like you gonna do it every week?
They're gonna
die. They not dying from an apocalypse. They dying because the fucking writer keeps taking them out.
But they're dying because of the circumstances.
It has nothing to do with the apocalypse. Like the last episode, it was suicide. Like it's not an apocalypse doing this, bro.
Suicide.
Why are you playing? It might have been suicide. Might have been the same reason Tess got out of there. That kind of suicide too.
Tess got fucking bit. Now I can count her. She got bit, so she was gonna be out of there anyway. Now fast forward again. Last scene. Mm-hmm. So I make a prediction here. Y'all can talk about it if y'all want, but I believe this is Henry and Sam. They mentioned Sam as well as Henry. I believe these two people that we see at the end of the episode are Henry and Sam. And I'm interested in seeing where this goes.
They actually kind of allude to that because in that same attic that Kathleen checked out, there were pictures of clearly children's drawings. Yeah. And there were two people flying through the air and they had red masks on. And then when you zoom in on the child of the two, he has red paint going across his eyes. So I'm pretty sure this is Henry and Sam. I don't know what the fuck they got going on.
We got some
brothers. Look like he about I don't know 8 or 9, but he got a blick on him. So
I think these outside of Joel's daughter.
Motherfucker to shush, boy.
But look, outside of Joel's daughter, I think these the first brothers that we seen, huh?
Yeah. These are, in which I actually didn't make the connection that they were brothers until brothers,
sir,
niggas.
What are you talking about, Roots? What are you talking about?
I just caught on. You talking about niggas?
You just called them.
I don't know why you said brothers.
Brothers? I don't know anything about that. I thought they was son and father. Like I don't know.
Well, I say they look like siblings because their difference in there. I know what you're talking about, but the reason I said I thought of brothers is because they look not that far apart in age.
Rute, you're not alone. Slim is a funny guy. I was
talking about African Americans, bro.
Yeah, I know. I said I know what you're talking about, but because you said brothers, and I've never heard you say that way before, ever in my life have I ever heard Slim refer to African Americans as brothers.
I normally don't have to because we be out here, so I normally don't have to specify.
Be out here.
You just said black people, bro. Like I don't know why you even say
the brothers,
but you refer to them as a white man who's trying not to be racist. Like. That's how you refer to them. Man.
White men say
come
that.
On. Man, come on, my brothers.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Come on, my brothers. Keep going, man. My brothers, I'm cool with you guys. Like
conspiracy, brother. All right, keep going, man.
But shout out Osborne. But goddamn, yeah. So, I thought when I first saw them, I thought they were siblings because they don't seem that far apart in age. But yes, Slim, this is the first two African American males because they what is her name? Marlene is black.
Oh yeah, facts.
And the other female that with her is black as well. But these are the first black males. Will you stop it? Will you stop?
Sister, bro.
We're like the same age. Why are you talking like you was born in the 70s? Stop it. But
job, turkey.
Settle down.
But yeah. So I think these might be a cold pair. Like I said, Sam looked like he like 8 or 9 years old, and he know how to handle a blick already. So I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, my honest opinion is they're gonna team up, but I'm interested to see.
Go ahead, Paul.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Paul, let's talk about the brothers.
What you mean, brothers? Like African Americans or brothers?
Yeah.
The same. They both the same. We talking about the same people.
Yeah, the last two. I actually thought they was
I got
son, but I don't know.
My bad. Go ahead. That's what I got to say. That nigga Joel did all that shit. Yeah, man. It's like they ain't gonna sneak up on me when I'm sleeping. They snuck up on me.
That's because he deaf in one ear, like Ellie said.
They're already in it.
But still, though, they should have heard that shit.
No, the fuck they
definitely should have heard that shit.
At, KTL.
I think they was ducked off.
Hey, you know what's crazy? They even got Ellie ass up and Joe still asleep. They got
Joe
Ellie
was asleep.
Nigga might
Killer
just
at
be
gunpoint.
tired, man.
Joel ain't hear shit.
He deaf in one ear, like she said.
Yeah. That's
He made that
crazy.
shit sound.
Part
He
is,
made
it
being
wasn't.
partially deaf sound cool
No,
too.
no,
He
the
like,
crazy part is if you pay attention, like whenever he, she says, "I notice, you like are hard of hearing in your right ear." He turns and lays on his right ear, so it's not a factor. Like if you notice, like I noticed that type of shit.
yeah, I actually didn't notice that.
Yeah,
I
like
noticed that
he's
shit.
laying on his
That might
right
be some
side.
like tactical shit that he
That shit's
does
still
to be
effective,
able to
brother.
hear better, but it didn't help at all.
I
Like
learned
I
These
about
say,
it.
niggas
I don't
definitely
think they
snuck up
stepped
on
on
it.
the glass, bro. I think they was already in there, whatever, wherever
No, I think
they was
it
somewhere.
makes sense because Joel is who it is. Does it not make sense that if he gonna spray glass out in front of the front door, he hasn't checked everywhere already?
Well, I'm saying like,
Where else is
I'm
there in
under the
there? I need to
assumption
see
that
that room.
wasn't the only entrance. Like,
Yeah, I need to see that room to see where else
yeah,
they
like
could
I
have came
assume
from.
there's like a balcony or window or something. Motherfucker went through.
Yeah, it seemed like it's pretty ducked off. They was in there giggling all loud and shit, and nobody ran down on
Yeah,
them.
no, but
Plus, they
that's
had
what I
went up
was
like
thinking. Like
35 sets of stairs.
maybe they didn't like nobody knew that they was there until they started all that dumbass laughing about
Yeah,
diarrhea. And
big bad,
shit, man.
big bad Joel. They went to sleep thinking it was sweet. She told that stupid joke. What she
Hey,
He
they
say?
was
What
being
she
all
say?
cracking up
loud and
with that
laughing and
shit,
kikiing
boy.
and shit. Woke up
What
to
she
a
say?
gun in his
That
face.
diarrhea joke,
He
Tex.
said
Diarrhea.
Yeah,
diarrhea.
she
I
said.
ain't
She
gonna lie,
said
that shit was kind of funny.
that diarrhea is hereditary.
Here go this Roots
Run through
character,
your
man.
jeans.
Go
It
ahead,
runs in your
Roots.
Runs through
genes.
your
It
jeans.
runs in your genes.
Roots
Nah,
said,
that
"I
shit
thought that
kinda
was
funny.
pretty funny."
That's
It
a
was.
bar, low key.
Facts.
Mhm.
I hate it.
Hey, look, Chase. I think KTL said that scarecrow joke as a bar.
Like Roots did
I'm
too.
one of about 4
And
people.
Roots did.
Nah. You know who else?
Yeah,
He's
I'm one of
outstanding
about
in
Yeah.
the spiel, bro.
You know who else said that? What's his
Phenomenal.
name?
Yusuf.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And you know who
His
joined
ass,
in the
man.
club? Ellie,
Who?
nigga. She said it.
They
She
might have-
said the
She
same
might.
bar.
I'm
I
gonna
got
keep it a
crazy,
buck. She might have
bro.
said it in the game, and they might have bit that shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. She
Niggas
might have said
stealing
it
bars
better.
from video games.
She
Right,
might have
man.
said it better.
Reacted.
Hey, look,
to
final
it,
thoughts, man. What's the final thoughts? What we looking at?
Outstanding in the
This
field.
probably was my favorite episode so far. I'm not gonna lie, they covered a lot of ground. Like I said, the growth of Ellie and Joel's relationship with
This
each
was
other
better
is
than the first
really,
episode to
really
you.
good. I think so, yeah, to be honest with you. Like it's probably less action than it was on the first one, but because I feel like they made up with the dialogue between Ellie and Joel, the different things that they talk about while they're in the car and them having to basically go through that was their first encounter with enemies.
They had to make this episode like fire like that to redeem themselves from the third episode.
And I like the fact that they talked about Tommy again some more because it was like 1 or 2 episodes where they just forgot about him.
Love you some
That was
Tommy,
another
huh?
thing. So we actually find out that
I
Tommy.
just want the continuity, Pujols. Like
Whoa,
you gotta.
Look, we also find out that Tommy. I think before we were saying that both Tommy and Joel served together, but it's actually that Tommy was the one that was the veteran. He got sent out during Desert Storm and shit like that. So that nigga
They
Tommy,
did serve.
going
They
across him,
served
he
on
might
some
be a
shit.
cold ass nigga.
They served on some shit. When he came home, that both of them niggas was together, whatever they said. They was working with whoever, and then Tommy went and joined the Fireflies. And then he left.
Well, to me, it's a pretty cool episode. I still got the second episode as my favorite, but it was cool. I think this fifth one gonna be ridiculous though. That shit.
The second
crazy.
episode.
Yeah, I like
Okay,
the
Tex,
Asian
you
lady
go
getting
next.
took to I like when they got the Asian lady and she looked and she was like, I'll blow up just bomb everything. That's the type of shit I'm into. Decision making. But go ahead.
Go ahead, Tex. What's your opinion there?
My opinion of what, the episode?
Yeah.
The end?
No, all of it. What's your favorite episode?
I still think the first one is the best, but I think this last episode is the second best.
Yeah, I think I might
The
agree
second
with
episode
that.
wasn't bad though. The second episode wasn't bad.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you said, honestly.
1, 4, 2, and 3. Yeah.
Yep. What about you, KTL?
I think this episode to me was probably my least favorite episode so far. Me personally, I just feel like it was like a short episode, so they didn't get to do a whole lot. There was a couple of like story beats that happened, but like I wasn't really too into it. I think it was all right though. I don't think it was bad. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just my opinion on this shit.
So you like episode 3 better?
Yeah.
Hey yo. Oh, okay. I understand, bro.
That's not what that was.
All right. I was waiting on Slim.
Hey man, yeah, man, that's been a recap of episodes both 3 and all right.
Did Slim go?
Yeah, I said the same.
Yeah,
thing.
I thought he was about to do the outro though.
Oh my bad.
Yeah, I definitely was. Yeah. Do y'all have anything else?
Nah, man.
Good show
All right,
so
bet.
far, man. Good show.
Yeah, I like this
man.
story.
Yeah, this is super fire, man. I think this is building up to be a really, really good show overall. I'll probably end up watching again after the conclusion. If the episodes are going to continue to be this good, I think I'll probably end up watching this season more than once. But that about wraps it up for episodes 3 and 4. We're going to be back next week with a whole nother episode, a whole nother recap. And yeah, we out this bitch, man. Real Rap Coalition Podcast.